Man of his face to face in the morning light. Shy barges in the light regrets. Slow dances who left no one enough. Average glances and indiscreet yawning. Good manners and bad breath can get you nowhere. Even presidents say these people never lose. Ministers go crawling undercover. She's no angel, he's no saint, but all covered up with whitewashing grease paint. You say the teacher never told you anything but white lies, and you never see the lies that you believe. Though you know you have been captured, you feel so civilized, and you look so pretty in your new lace sleeves. Salty lips of the social life, sisters with her continental fingers that have never seen work in blisters. Oh, I know they got their problems. I wish I was one of them. They say Daddy's coming home soon with his sergeant stripes and his empire mug and spoon. No more fast, but when are they gonna learn their lesson? When are they gonna stop all our these victory processions? You say the teacher never told you anything but white lies, and you never see the lies that you believe. Though you know you have been captured, you feel so civilized, and you look so pretty in your new lace sleeves. Look so pretty in your new lace sleeves. You look so pretty in your new lace sleeves. You look so pretty in your new lace sleeves.
Back now with Mr. Elvis Costello. You know, all day long, people who work on the show have been very excited about this appearance, and they've said, you know, Elvis Costello just doesn't do an awful lot of television. You don't see him on many shows. He doesn't grant many interviews. So I'm very happy that you're here tonight, but I have to ask you why you don't appear that much on the chat shows, as they're called in the UK, or do more interviews.
Well, we've never really been asked. I've never been asked.
This would be a good reason, wouldn't it?
In fact, last time we were on NBC, I think they told us not to come back. They said, we'll see you never work again on American TV.
They've said that to hundreds of people, and we've showed them.
They were the same people that said, you know, to the Beatles in Hamburg, we'll see you never work again, you know.
What was that occasion? Was that the Saturday Night Live appearance where you do?
Well, that's the only time we've ever been on TV.
All right. What happened there? You changed songs or something?
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a live show because something about the title sort of suggests it, and the number that we were sort of bullied into doing, because in those days the record company used to be able to lean on us and say you must promote the product, the rock and roll, and I didn't honestly feel that the song
it was actually a song that was written about in a very English situation. It didn't really fit. And we had a new number, which at that time wasn't recorded, about radio. And I thought, well, golden opportunity to play it in front of a lot of people. So we just did it spontaneously, you know, and but evidently it's not that live, you know.
What you're saying is they kind of expected one song and they heard another and somebody got a little bit upset.
Things, and they didn't have any camera cues, which I suppose from a professional point of view isn't very good, but from a live TV point of view I would have thought it was great. There was an occasion when Jimi Hendrix did a similar thing on English TV about 1969 where he just said, they're taking me off the air, and he went on playing a number and he was on the equivalent of the Lawrence Welch show at the time, so it didn't go down all that well.
The song that you had been asked to play, and you said something about the record company wanted that particular product promoted.
Yeah.
Do you kind of rebel against that if they say, hey, listen, we want you to do this song because this is the one we've got the money on?
Well, that's before that we sort of persuaded them that isn't the way that we work. It had a little gentle persuasion, and then we've got much better understanding on those matters now.
You have been described by people who have written of you as being an angry man. Have you worked...
Oh, well, you can see that.
Well, we don't see it now as we might have seen it at one time. But have you worked that out pretty much? Have you learned to kind of channel your energies and not get angry at situations?
Yeah, well, to be really straight about it, I suppose some of the time it was nerves that tends to make you more aggressive. Other times it was righteous, particularly when we first came here and we might have just landed from Mars or something, the way people looked at us. So we were genuinely trying to put it over forcefully, and the complacency that was in music at that time, which is not to say that it's got any better. It's not getting any better at all. But that was just the way we felt at that time. And as we've gone on about, well, what is it? It seems like years. I just want to present a wider picture now. So inevitably you get some people going and say you sold out and you've gone mellow. God knows. And I don't think that at all. I'm just trying to present a more complete picture, because you have 20 years to write your first album and you have 6 months to write your second one, So I just want to present a more complete picture of a person. So the first thing is all that stuff that's been building up for all those years.
I guess what I'm asking, Mr. Costello, is if in the years that you've now been in the business as a big star, you've learned to accept certain situations and get along with certain kinds of individuals who may want to put an arm on you because of your talent and popularity.
I don't pay any attention to that.
I mean, whether you've just matured with those situations.
What a horrible word that is. Matured. No, I don't think I'm not in the business to mature. I don't think. It makes it sound like sort of cheese or something, doesn't it?
Well, I was kind of thinking of fine wines, but if you...
Oh, well, you're such a flatterer.
I found it gets me everywhere, Elvis, I'll tell you.
Well, fine wine generally does.
Yeah. When you were a computer programmer, were you...
I was actually a computer operator.
You weren't... Then you didn't put programs into the computer, or did you do that?
No, I was just a button pusher and a card.
The reason I ask is, I don't know...
Very good. You want to see a few cards?
No. Have you got cards?
No.
The company sent me one of these home computers to fiddle around with, where you put programs in it, how to balance your checkbook and how to do all this.
I can't even work a calculator.
Yeah, well,
you can actually train a chimpanzee to work a computer. It's really overblown job. I mean, I know it's very complex in the programming side, and that's why I gave it up. It just happened to coincide with getting a record contract. They were this thing of being a computer programmer is just nonsense. I did it for about 20 minutes. And it interfered with the fact that while I was actually being paid for working a computer and writing songs at the same time, when I had to actually think to do programming, then it interfered with me reading magazines. And
was it frustrating for you when you were working in that job with computers and writing songs and playing your guitar as an avocation?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what were the frustrations that you had saying, I've got some talent, I've got something to offer, why am I sitting here on this keyboard?
I mean, it's exactly the same thing. It's all very well for me to sit here and be smug about, because I've got a record contract now and I can put out records, and if I don't, then I suppose they send the boys around or something. I don't know what happens. Yeah, sure it was. I mean, I was turned down by every record company in England, including the company that I'm signed with in America and the company I'm signed with in England. You know, it was obviously I just didn't present myself. Probably due to the fact that I'm a big fan of the, you know, those old films where they go in and say, "Have I got a song for you?" And I actually tried that. I thought I genuinely believed you could do that and go and I used to make these embarrassing executives sit down and I get a guitar and say, "Well, what do you think of this song actually?" and play it to them. And you know, they were used to getting demo tapes and then they could put these polite slips in the mail, and most of them, you know, they were signed by a secretary. They probably never even listened. They have people that listen to them, and you know, I did actually force a few people to be bored for 20 minutes in between taking phone calls, and it's particularly embarrassing when you're in the middle of a song and you really think you're convincing the guy and suddenly the phone goes and he goes, "Oh, yes, darling, yes, I'll be home about 8, and no, lamb casserole would be great, you know, catch you later, man." What can you do, you know, and it's... I know, you know, there's still lots of people that are doing that, so they're not going to find it funny. The people that are watching this that are in that same situation are not going to find it funny, and people come up and ask me whether, you know, have you got any tips, and there ain't any. You just keep knocking on the door until they answer, you know.
Does that happen to you? Young people would write you letters and say, "Hey, I want to do this."
I get people coming up and giving me tapes and stuff, and seeing whether I can do something, you know, and there isn't really anything I'm going to do. I don't have any more clout with the record company, you know. I mean, they think I'm one brick short of a load, you know. I mean, I'm sure what I say, you know, it doesn't really carry much weight with people because they're businessmen, and you know, they've got to discover it for themselves.
Curiously, the ambitious young people who want to enter the industry, whether it be yours or mine, think that people who do it as we do have got jobs to offer or have some clout with the management that we can simply make a call and say, "Hey, I met someone in the street today, you ought to hire him." I don't have that. You don't have that. We don't have jobs to offer people. In fact, we have enough trouble keeping these two going. Huh?
Well, I don't, actually. I don't know.
I will check with you in 22 years and see how it's going. You know what I mean? Who are your heroes? Do you have songwriters that are heroes to you? Not
heroes. That's a really... I remember when they did a program, I can't remember what station it was on, called Heroes of Rock and Roll. I mean, that's a contradiction in terms as far as I'm concerned. You know, I've got lots of people I admire, some current people, and probably some people, well, that, you know, you might not expect. I admire people like Cole Porter and Lorenz Hart as lyricists, and I really like Hank Williams.
Didn't you put a Gershwin song on one of your albums?
No, Rodgers and Hart.
Rodgers and Hart song on one of your albums? That's a little bit unusual, a little bit different.
Yeah, well, it was a song that I think I liked that song before I could walk, you know, so I think I could work a record player before I could walk. Yeah. Now I can barely do both at the same time.
Not if you chew gum, yeah? What about your dad, jazz musician?
Yeah, originally, and then he was a band singer, and he's still a professional musician. He plays more dates a year than I do. He works very hard. He drives up and down, drives himself around England, plays clubs and, you know, social clubs and nightclubs and so forth, and football supporters, soccer supporters clubs and things like that, and he works incredibly hard.
Do you love him?
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever go see him?
Yeah, I used to play with him sometimes,
really?
You know, but I could never get in tune, you know.
I hope he's proud of you.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think he is. Well, if he hasn't told me if he hasn't.
Okay. No, I'm glad that you go see your pop and that you realize that he works very, very, very hard. Yeah. And it's good. The number you're going to do
He was actually discouraging me to get into this business.
Yeah. This number, Watch Your Step, that you're going to do for us after. Is this a warning?
Well, I'll leave that up to you.
All right. This was very comfortable for me. Thank you very much. I didn't expect it to be, and it was.
Don, I just want you to do it, Don, because people say to me, if you're him, do the funny legs, because of the picture on the first row. You've got to do the funny eyebrows, you know. So. And the James Stewart impression.
We'll be right back with Elvis Costello after these announcements. So stay with us. All right. No nonsense. Again, Mr. Elvis Costello and the Attractions with a new song and possibly some sound advice called Watch Your Step. Here is Elvis.
Don't say a word, don't say anything, don't say a word. I'm not even listening. I read in the papers about their escape. They picked 2 bits of kids from a bunch of sour grapes. You better watch your step. Watch who's knocking on your front door. Now you know that they're watching. What are you waiting for? Think you're young and original. Get out before they get to watch your step. Every day is full of fun and family spies. They're making heroes out of all guys. They say it's good for business. From Singapore to witness, you better watch your step. Broken noses hung up on the wall, backslapping drinkers to the heavyweight brawl. So punch drunk they don't understand at all. You better watch your step. Time quiet when you're drinking down the eau de cologne, when you're spitting out the Kodachrome. You better watch your step. Bye bye, I send you all my regards. You're so tough, you're so hard. Listen to the hammers falling in the breaker's yard. You better watch your step. Watch your step. Watch your step.
Incidentally, if the last number by Mr. Costello and the Attractions was on black and white, it was your set. It was not us here. The danger when we do that, we did that in black and white to create a feeling of old-time rock and roll, is that at 175 or 180 television stations, 180 people who are sitting at control consoles say, where the hell's the color? What happened? Crazy. So we're back now, and it was not your set.